Welcome to the Aggie Basketball Hour with Joni Taylor, live from Rudy's Barbecue on Harvey Road in College Station. Brought to you by Coors Light, Choose Chill, and Gig 'em Aggies. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find the real Texas barbecue near you. And by Twisted Tea, hard iced tea for the 12th man. Please drink responsibly. Now, here's Steve Miller.
And hi again, everybody. Welcome out to Rudy's Barbecue. We're on Harvey Road here in College Station, where there's never a traffic problem, only U-turns. And hope you can find your way to get here to Rudy's Barbecue. We're right next to one of the medians, so you should know exactly where we're at. We're going to talk women's basketball the next hour from 6 until 7 o'clock. We are here most Monday nights throughout the season, and this is one of them. Next week we'll be here as well, and then we're getting close to having a Monday night game, and then that will resume these shows in January. Joni Taylor will be joining us in just a few moments. Remind you that the next game for the Aggies is going to be on Wednesday, 6:15 p.m. That's right, 6:15 p.m. Special weird time. It's part of the SEC ACC Challenge. It's at Reed Arena. Syracuse will be in town. A&M and Syracuse. Hope you make it out for that one. You can listen here on the Texas A&M Sports Network. Locally, that's going to be Zone 1150. It'll also be on ESPNU. And then next Sunday, A&M faces off against number 13 Kansas State. That's 3 o'clock Sunday, Reed Arena. That game here on the A&M Sports Network, locally Zone 1150, and also on the SEC Network. Well, Texas A&M coming off of a 1-2 showing in the Bahamas at the Battle for Atlantis. That was a strong tournament. There was North Carolina out there, Indiana, Baylor, Villanova was A&M's first opponent, and the Aggies lost to Villanova 65-57, and then ended up falling to Ball State 75-62, and then in the final game beat Southern Miss 79-57. In that Villanova game, the Aggies really bit in those first two games kind of by the turnover bug. There were 23 points scored off turnovers by Villanova, and that really was the big difference in the game. And kind of the same thing in the Ball State game to a degree. There were 16 points off turnovers in that game, but Texas, if in the, I get the same print off here. In the Southern Miss game, everything kind of cleaned up. It was a great game for Texas A&M, shooting 54% in the game, and it was 26 points by Jada Malone, who started in that game. She went 11 for 12, which was by percentage the second best percentage field goal shooting effort in Texas A&M history. That's how crazy that was. Every time she touched the ball, I mean, it was going in, plus nailed some 4 free throws, had 7 rebounds in that, even had 2 assists and 3 steals. Jada was all over the place, and A&M did a great job of getting her the ball. In fact, the team was doing such a great job getting distributing the ball. They had 27 assists on 34 made field goals. So some of you mathematicians here can do that. That's a pretty good effort, showing that you are passing the ball around. Soleil Williams had 8 of those assists, and Aisha Coulibaly with 6 of those assists in that game against Southern Miss. So it was a great way to depart the Bahamas, getting the victory and moving to 4-4. And when you look at the upcoming schedule with Syracuse comes in on Wednesday. They are 4-4. They have beaten Missouri. They beat them 82-59. They lost to Creighton 86-59. And just a couple days ago beat Yale 78-50. So they've got a chance to come in here. But Texas A&M getting to start a 6-game homestand, stretching from now until they play Ole Miss on January 5th. So done with the road games until conference play. Good position to be in. Kansas State, now today in the ratings, they are in at 13 in the rankings. So A&M has already played number 15 West Virginia, and they're going to play number 13 Kansas State. That will be at home on Sunday. Kansas State 7-1 in the league. Their notable loss, the only loss of the season, was to Duke, 73-62. And since then, they have won 2 straight, and they've got 2 more games to go this week before they make it here to College Station on Sunday. They'll face Eastern Illinois, and is that South Carolina Upstate, I believe, is the opponent that they have. I think that is the abbreviation there on Thursday. So they've got a lot going on, but they have a great player in their post player, Ioka Lee, 18 points a game, 6 rebounds. Kansas State, again, one of the top teams in the Big 12, will be coming in on Sunday. Hey, it's Joni Taylor has joined us on the show. Traffic is just awful, isn't it? It really is bad. It's awful.
I thought getting off campus was the easiest part today.
Yeah.
I wasn't. What's going on?
I have no idea.
Is there something going on that we don't know about?
I don't know. It's like that. Seems like that's everywhere. Just slow and go. I don't know if it maybe. I always think it was like maybe the time change sometimes, which was even a couple of weeks ago. But it gets dark and people, I don't know. Maybe more people are out running errands.
Yeah, I mistimed that really bad.
Oh yeah, hey, don't worry about it. It was bad. I almost missed the start of the show, so, and I was here. So that's a whole other issue. We're talking a little bit about the Bahamas and the upcoming schedule. And how do you summarize your trip to the Bahamas?
It exposed us.
Oh.
Number one, let me say this. It was a great trip. Mm-hmm. We got there on Wednesday. We had 2 days of practice. And I think the first thing I would like to just make sure that people are aware of is how good Villanova and Ball State are. Ball State is number 1 mid-major in the country. They could have easily been in the NCAA tournament last year. They won their conference. They returned all 5 starters. Really, really good team. Villanova, same way. So we got tested against really, really good teams. I think, again, to just continue to expose that we just have growth. Mm-hmm. We play Villanova. We jump out on them really well. And then we give up some threes. And we just aren't a team that can trade threes for twos. Offensively, we're just not at that point. Same thing happened against Ball State. It was 2 teams that are similar in what they do offensively, lots of cuts, lots of motion, big in size in their guard position where they can switch some things around. And so I think anytime we made a mistake, they capitalized on it, and that was the biggest thing. And the other thing we just continue to talk about is our turnovers. If you look at our losses, our turnovers are just glaring in terms of how much we are coughing it up and giving it to the other team, and they are taking those turnovers and turning them into points. And so that's the biggest thing we got to get cleaned up. Some bright spots. Jada Malone had a heck of a tournament. She played really well in Game 1 and Game 3. Got in foul trouble in Game 2.
2 fouls almost back to back.
Back to back, right? Yeah. Amira Abdul-Rahim is starting to find her feet a little bit in terms of just our system. We have to remember she missed the entire summer with us. She did not travel on our foreign tour because she was finishing school at SMU before she could come here. So she shows up in the fall behind. And then obviously, the tragic loss of her brother. And so she's finally starting to figure some things out, our offense, our defense, and she had a really good showing. So that was exciting to see. And then AC had a breakout game too. So we had some bright spots in it. I think we walked away understanding that we never said we were going to go to the Bahamas and have it figured out. We walked away understanding that discipline and details are important. We've got to stop turning the ball over. Now we played against 2 really, really good teams. And that's not to give us an excuse for our 2 losses, but came back on that 3rd game, and where we could have been moping and in our feelings about those 2 losses, I thought we came out and did some really good stuff against Southern Miss and got a win.
Yeah, I mean, you noted turnovers and a stretch of, maybe 4 out of 5 games or so where turnovers were really just a bugaboo. Mm-hmm. And how do you think your team reacted to and overcoming that?
Yeah, I think that for us, we're getting better, but we're still a team that dwells too much on a mistake. Mm-hmm. And so we let one mistake turn into 2, or we're still thinking about that mistake instead of moving on to the next thing. I think Coach Rodney Hill, who you guys heard from before we left for the Bahamas, he spoke to us. But when it was his scout was the last one, and one of the things he shared with our team, I was like, you need to share this with them. In our losses, we had given up 90 points off of turnovers. When you count the number of turnovers we've had in our losses, it equates to 90 points. And that just kind of was an aha moment for them. And we've said that in different ways, but you have to just keep figuring out how to say the same thing. It's like throwing it on the wall until it sticks. And that stat really jumped out to them, and so I think that really got their attention.
Yeah, and in that Southern Miss game, they were able to bring that number down to where it was an even number and not a difference in winning and losing number.
And our assists went up because of it.
Yeah, he has 27 assists.
27
we were talking about that a few
yeah.
minutes ago. And successful teams distribute the ball. And so one of the things I think we talked about it after the game was the number of times where there were multiple passes before a shot was taken.
Yeah.
And why is that? Why is that a good thing?
Well, it makes the defense have to work,
Yeah.
number one. I think sometimes we want to be the one to take the shot, right? And we're all talented enough to do that. But we started the year by saying, like, we don't have to take tough shots. There's going to be enough times where we get down to 10 on the clock or 5 or less, and we've got to go figure out how to take a tough shot. But that should not be what our offense looks like. We shouldn't have to take tough shots every time down the floor. And so some of them are capable of going one-on-one, and that's in their game, but they still have to know when to do it. And so I thought it was really, really good that we took that day. And we had a hard shoot-around that day. I mean, that was game 3, and we got taped up and went at it. And for them to come out and move the ball the way they did, hopefully you just hope to see that again on Wednesday, and that some things are starting to stick and there's some carryover.
It's interesting you noted about that intensity, and I would say it wasn't just that day. I felt like each of the workouts there were among the most intense I'd ever seen at a holiday tournament. Why was that your approach?
Well, we've got work to do. I mean, it's just like I told them, like, I understand we're playing 3 games in 3 days, but we've got to take advantage of every opportunity we have to get on the floor together and practice, because that's where we're behind. We've had so many players that are out. We've had so many players that are, okay, we've got her back, and now we've lost this player for an injury or whatever it is. And so any time we have an opportunity to practice, we've got to take advantage of that time together, whether we play a game later that day, the next day at 9 o'clock at night, whatever it is, we've got to take advantage of that time together so we can continue to get in sync and get better.
Yeah, and in those situations, everyone gets the same amount of court time. It's what you do with it.
Correct.
And so you guys had a different approach than probably some teams are out there in flip-flops or just bouncing the ball around a ballroom.
No, we've got work to do.
Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the fun things that the team did while they were there. We'll also look ahead to Syracuse and Kansas State coming up. And also coming up on the show, we'll have assistant coach Rob Mosley joining us as well. We're live from Rudy's Barbecue. It's the Aggie Basketball Hour with Joni Taylor from Learfield. Head on over to your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com to place an order for their real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoked meats and delicious sides and Rudy's signature sauce. And don't forget, Rudy's serves made-to-order and grab-and-go breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m. We're back on the Aggie Basketball Hour with Joni Taylor. We're at Rudy's here on Harvey Road in College Station, here until 7 o'clock, talking women's basketball. The Aggies going to take on Syracuse Wednesday, Reed Arena, 6:15, special time for the SEC-ACC showdown. And then we will, or challenge, I guess it's a challenge. I don't want to get in trouble.
Challenge.
It's a challenge, not a showdown.
Challenge.
Oh, we're done with the showdown for a few weeks. And then we've got Kansas State coming in on Sunday, 3 o'clock, Reed Arena, Kansas State 13 in the country. So some great opponents coming in for this week. Back to the Bahamas. What was the fun part about the Bahamas? Because we can't all just be in gymnasiums,
Right.
They're in ballrooms, which are all unique. We talked about that too. But what were the fun parts?
So I'm trying to think. Maybe 2 of our players had been there before, but it was like passing through. Otherwise, they had never been to the Bahamas. So they were super excited about it. We got there a day early. We left on Wednesday. And on Thursday after practice, they got to swim with the dolphins.
Cool.
And that was really cool. If you haven't seen it, go to our Instagram. There's a video of it. And so that was really, what an amazing experience, right? And this is not just like stand there and let them kiss your cheek. This is like right on their back. They take you under the water. It was pretty cool. So it was just really nice for them to see that, to see them just enjoy themselves. And then I think Sahara had a GoPro, and she had some footage of going through, they call it a lazy river, but it's nothing lazy about it. It's like a rapid. It's rapid, right? And it just spins you and takes you down. So it was nice to just see them have some fun and enjoy that opportunity.
It's a unique, the team was at Atlantis. They call it Battle for Atlantis. And it's not just your average hotel, foreign country hotel. This thing is an elaborate maze of everything.
It is. Atlantis is, Atlantis and Baja Mar are the 2 marquee places to stay, right, if you want to go to the Bahamas. However, most people do not stay there because it is quite pricey. I think like a cup of milk was $10. I mean, like it just, it's expensive.
Tax.
I'll tell you this. I'll say this much. I've spent some time there before, and we had security that was with us, like security detail, and they go to Miami once a month to buy groceries because everything is imported because it's an island, right? And so they go to Miami to get their groceries because it's too expensive to buy food in the Bahamas once it's been like brought in off the ship because they grow nothing there. Like their money is tourism. And so, I mean, that's when, things are pricey, when the people who live there are flying are taking a boat to Miami once a month to get groceries.
They had in the little gift shop, they had, those little Frito-Lay Tostitos, I don't know, a little jar of queso.
Yeah.
I think it was like $11.
I'm telling you.
I think here at the store, maybe, I don't know, was that $3 to $4? I haven't bought one, but 11 seemed pricey.
Yeah, and it stays open 24 hours. So, of course, when you're, finish a 9 o'clock game and you've lost it, I go into, like, the store, and I'm like, give me this, and give me this, and give me this. And I'm, like, binging all the bad food that I don't need to eat. And the bill's, like, $50. I'm like, right. I have 3 things. Like, what happened here?
Well, they also had, I think in that little store, they had water in a milk jug.
Yes.
Which was a very strange drinking experience. If you wanted that water, that was odd. Did you get in with the Dolphins? You talked about the team. Did you get in with the Dolphins?
I did not. I was working. I have done that before, though.
Yeah.
It's a great experience. I love the water. I love animals. But I did not do that this time. I was watching film.
Yeah, tell us about how you prepare. Going in, you've got 3 games in a row, but how do you handle that preparation? Talk us through that highway there.
So let me take us back to Northwestern State. That was on Sunday. And then we did not play until Saturday, and we knew we were playing Villanova. So your first opponent. So you try to get that done before you even get to the Bahamas. And it is done. Let me say our assistant coaches do an amazing job of putting that in my hand early enough. So for me, I wanted to have Villanova done, set in my mind, game plan before, once we got there. So then I could take the time to look at the rest of the field. I mean, there were 8 teams there. And after that first game, it could have gone any way. And so we had to watch North Carolina and Ball State. We had to watch Baylor. We had to watch Indiana. We had to watch Southern Miss, Columbia. Like, there were so many different teams to watch. And so I tried to just focus on what was next. Okay, based on what happens in the Villanova game, we're either going to play North Carolina or Ball State. And so I spent Thursday, Friday, watching Ball State and North Carolina to prepare for whatever happened in that scenario.
And because that tournament, as you said, it plays all the way out, so you have no idea.
You have no idea. That is one of the very few real bracket tournaments that still exist. Most of the time now when you go to an MTE is what they call a multiple team event, right? It's where you can go play multiple teams. And even though it's a tournament, it's still predetermined. Like, you're going to go there and play 2 games or even 3 games, but you know who your opponent is, and so you can prepare. This is the one tournament where it truly is like a tournament, and it's a winner's bracket and a loser's bracket, and then it's up for grabs. And so we had 7 scouting reports to prepare for.
In that situation, when they get teams to come into a tournament like that, are you guaranteed that they're not going to pick also someone else from your conference?
You can't.
Is that a rule?
That's the rule.
Oh, okay.
You can't. As of now, that is the rule. That's actually in legislation to be
Go
talked
figure.
about, right?
Go figure.
Well, just because as the conferences are growing, you're going to look up pretty soon. It's only going to be 1 or 2 conferences left, and so it's going to be really hard at that point to keep that rule in place. So that's being circulated now, but it is not in effect. But you're correct. Like, so whoever is running those tournaments, they can only secure 1 team from each conference because you could end up playing anybody.
I thought it was interesting as we go into the weeds here. The Georgia men's team was there, and there was a tournament going on at the other hotel, the Baha Mar, and there was a tournament going on for Battle for Atlantis. And then and that was a men's tournament at that other hotel. And here's Georgia, men just kind of hanging out and playing people, and they're not even in a tournament.
Right.
How does something like that come about?
So the same Lee Miller-Tooley, she runs the Battle of Atlantis for the women and the men. She had 2 play-in games on the men's side that were separate from Atlantis. And so she just had 2 games in the Bahamas. And so Georgia got to come play against St. John's, who was in the Baha Mar tournament, actually. And then, play against a really good team the day before they lost. But just it's a way for them to pick up 2 games. And so she ran those games, but they weren't a part of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, women's basketball maybe trending in that direction where people don't want to play home and home. But on the men's side, some of these men's teams, they have to go chase a game like that.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
because nobody will play anybody at home. So I just thought that was interesting. You see these guys walking around, and you know, we see a bunch of our friends from there, and they're like, what are you guys doing here?
Right.
Yeah, because I haven't seen your picture anywhere. You know, there's logos everywhere. I don't see yours, you know. So find that interesting. As you look now, essentially the crazy travel part of your schedule, there's no more travel. This team plays at home. The next road game is January the 9th.
We should all clap about that.
Isn't that great?
That's so amazing. That's so amazing.
What a genius schedule that is.
Shout out to Catherine Graham. She did this schedule for us last year before. She still worked in a consultant role for us. But no, we wanted to get tested this year. Again, like the schedule is done a year in advance. And so you're predicting what you think your roster will be, but you don't really know. And so we thought we were going to be in a position, and still think we could be in a position to, you know, learn a lot from the schedule, but we wanted to play some tough teams, and so we did that, but we wanted to also make sure that we were at home to finish it out.
Part of that, the way the schedule shook out, is there's a gap here over this past weekend from the time you got back until coming this Wednesday, about a week between games, and then another stretch in December. There's only limited games. Is that intentional? Is part of the design?
Well, this was intentional because we said, all right, we're going to have West Virginia, right? And then we're going to come back and we're going to play. And then who knows who we're going to play in the Bahamas? We could have gone like North Carolina, Baylor, Indiana. Like,
right.
Who knows what that looks like? We don't decide this game against Syracuse on Wednesday. The ACC and the SEC determine that matchup. They tell you who you're playing and when you're playing and if you're home or away. So the only thing we know is that we're going to be away next year because we were home this year. And so when we found out that this game was going to be, you know, December 4th, we were like, we need a gap between the Bahamas to get ready for that and to rest our bodies, because whoever we play in the Bahamas, it's going to be 3 really, really tough games. And then putting Kansas State on the back of that, it was just, it's a chance to get a game on a Sunday at home. And when you have you have to remember, we're trying to navigate our schedule with volleyball at the beginning of the year, with men's basketball who has to play in the same arena. And so when you look up on the calendar and there's a Sunday that's not taken, you take it. Right? I mean, you take it. And there's a team Kansas State's going to come play us at home. We'll do it. And so, yes, we played a tough schedule back to back to back to back, but it's just kind of how it works. And then on the back end of that is finals, and you're just not allowed to play during finals during the week. So that's why there's
on the days that there are tests
during the week. Yeah, you can play on reading day,
which is like tomorrow for you calendars. That's tomorrow and maybe the next day. Maybe
I think the 3rd and the 4th are reading day. And so then you cannot play during the week, but you can play on the weekend at home. At some schools. Some schools you can't even play at all during finals.
Oh, it's their own policy.
It's their own policy. So at Georgia, we couldn't play during finals at all, even on the weekend.
Sure.
And so we went like 15 days without playing a game. Yeah. So here you can play on the weekend.
Sure. And some of these kids, some of them don't even have finals. Seems like that is a dying breed. And
They're
you have
done.
others who may be overloaded, but I think everybody's seemingly kind of wrapping it up.
Most of our players are done. Some finished class last week before they went to the Bahamas. Some finished in the Bahamas, which made me a little nervous. And then we have a couple who have online finals.
How do you finish in the Bahamas?
They had a project that was due. Their final was a project.
Gotcha.
Or their final was a paper.
Oh, okay.
And it was due while we were in the Bahamas.
It's amazing. Amazing how they balance the academics and the crazy travel. You know, September and October, everything's good. I just go to practice, do my thing. And then all of a sudden you're going here, there, and everywhere for about a month or so. Pretty strong. Well,
I'll tell you what was different is that normally our tournament is during the week of Thanksgiving, so school is out. This was the first time in a while we played the week before Thanksgiving, so they missed Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of school. And so they're playing at 9 o'clock at night, and then we're waking up, like, trying to let them sleep in a little bit, because by the time the game is over, it's midnight, 11:30, I don't know, 12. And then we're trying to let them sleep in because they're like, well, I've got a tutoring on Monday. And I'm like, so some of them had to wake up and from their room or wherever they were still log in and do some things.
Have you ever played that many late games like that after 9 o'clock or later?
Maybe once, but that was probably, the Olympics.
Sorry, I haven't been to the Olympics.
The Olympics. We played the 9 o'clock game because of TV in the Olympics.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah.
So that was the first time I'd done it like that.
You could have like a conference, a tournament game because something got out of whack and you're playing late, but 9 o'clock and 9 o'clock again, and that is tough. And you gave we talked about on one of the pregame shows. One of your speeches was, It wasn't, hey, guys, get off your feet, get some rest. What was your speech?
Stay up, please.
Stay up and have a great time.
Stay up. Well, that's another reason why we got there a day early. We wanted to get there and give them 2 days to get accustomed to, like, being up at 11:30 and 12 o'clock so that their brains could function and their bodies would not be tired as they're playing. And so we could not control practice on Thursday, but Friday we did not practice until 6 p.m. We had dinner at 8 p.m., and then we watched a movie after that. One night we took them to a show that was there, just trying to get them to stay awake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be a challenge, and because last time I checked, everybody likes to sleep.
I mean, I wake up at 3:40, so I'm in the bed at 9 o'clock. I was concerned for myself playing a 9 o'clock game.
That sounds like a you problem at 3:45 in the morning. What are you doing?
Listen, this is my quiet time.
Yeah, it is quiet. I bet it is. I bet it is. All right, when we come back, we'll have assistant coach Rob Mosley joining us. We're live from Rudy's Barbecue. It's the Aggie Basketball Hour with Joni Taylor from Learfield. At Costa Vida Fresh Mexican Grill, we source high-quality ingredients and make our recipes from scratch every day. Starting with our fresh tortillas to our chips and queso, Baja Bowls, quesadillas, tacos, and more. Find us at CostaVita.com or in South College Station today. We're back on the Aggie Basketball Hour with Joni Taylor. We're here at Rudy's Barbecue on Harvey Road. I'm here until 7 o'clock. I'm Steve Miller along with the head coach Joni Taylor, and we are joined by assistant coach Rob Mosley. What'd you do for Thanksgiving, Rob?
Practice.
I mean, the whole day? Did you watch the parade? Did you do anything?
No, we practiced, and we had a meal catered for the team. So we got an opportunity to get better and to enjoy each other and share what we were thankful for.
What were your takeaways from the Bahamas?
I thought it was an opportunity to grow. Whenever you have adversity, you want to see how you respond. I thought our young ladies, we played hard, so you always want to see effort. We played hard, and I felt that Joni stated, the longer you're there, the quick turnover. We had never played 3 games, these young ladies, 3 consecutive games. So, you can either fight, or you can flee or quit. And our young ladies chose to fight, so that's always reassuring when you see them compete, and we were able to get a win. So, something to build off of.
What'd you think of Jada Malone?
I was happy for Jada. Me and Jada go back. We recruited Jada in high school.
Oh, okay.
So Jada was actually the only player I knew when I got here prior to that. So, and to see her out last year and to be able to come back and have success, you just feel good for those kids. And Jada that always prepares. She's always going to know the scouting report. She always knows the game plan. So to be able to go out and have some success, it was good.
What's the difference for Jada from when she played 2 years ago? She didn't get to play last year to this year because she seems to be having way more success, obviously older, but what's the difference?
I think older and just a different approach, too. She's more mature, as you stated, but I think having the year off, if you apply it the right way, and I believe she did, she was able to sit back and she was able to observe and really, truly learn. She knows the offense in and out. When she was out, Steve, our other assistant, would give her certain tasks to do. So she wasn't able to play or participate physically, but I believe she grew mentally. Her IQ increased. She's always been skilled. And also, I think a lot of times just absence. She truly missed the game. And when she got an opportunity to come back and compete, I think she takes it more seriously now. And she just appreciates it more.
Well, it's definitely translated, and regardless of the situation, Joni, you put her in to start, she has a career game.
Yeah, she was one field goal away from breaking her record. She was 11 for 12.
She was 11 for 12, 26 points, and the second best shooting effort percentage-wise in Texas A&M history.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
That's crazy.
It is, but that's Jada. Even her first year, she led us in field goal percentage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We weren't very good, but she's always been efficient. And so you want to give her touches, you want to give her opportunities, but it was definitely good. I was kind of sick too when she missed the field goal. It was, you're not going to be perfect, but she literally had a outstanding game.
I think she had the putback, didn't she?
She did the putback.
Yeah, she did. That's
she padded the wrong stat there.
Yeah, well, true. You're right. She wanted the rebound stat too. So.
What's it say about her teammates in getting her the ball? What's it say about her? they're finding her.
Yeah, they are. And I think, for one, they see that it's easier to play the game inside out. Once the defense starts to converge in, they get better looks. And then also I think it's been a point of emphasis. Joni has repeatedly said that the ball is going to go inside and to look inside. So, but they have made it a point to look inside, and it does. It makes the game easier when you play inside out.
Joni, and Soleil Williams got 8 of those assists in that game. What was she doing getting that ball in?
You know, I'll say this. Soleil we played her against Northwestern State and then quickly pulled her, right? So that was on a Sunday. We're off on Monday. She did not practice Tuesday. We traveled Wednesday. She did not practice Thursday or Friday or do shoot-around on Saturday, and then played Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So that's just kind of where she is with her injury. So she is someone who is our starting point guard and is not practicing. And against not only Villanova, but especially Ball State and Southern Miss, we have the shoot-around to watch film and put in everything we're going to put in and then go play the game hours later. And where she is really grown, we've talked about it a lot, she's got to, get her point guard legs under her, figure out, her shot versus everybody else's. She was really tuned in to what we were doing on the practice floor and in the film sessions, even though she wasn't out there. And so, she started standing next to us a ton more, listening to what we're saying, pointing things out. And I just thought she was hyper-focused on making sure she was as engaged as she could be, because she wasn't practicing. And so it's paying off for her. And then she practiced today, and I told her, don't stop being that same attentive, hypersensitive person, paying attention, watching the details, because now you're back on the practice floor. But I thought she just was locked in. She had an extreme level of focus.
But some coaches would say, oh, you didn't practice for a week, and I can't start you.
Right.
Why?
No.
That's not without you.
Well, because she's got an injury. I mean, we're grateful that she's playing right now with the injury, that she has. And so I think, again, what we tell our players all the time is it's fair, but it's not the same.
Right.
It's fair. Everybody will be treated fairly, but it is not the same. And so I think that's the approach that we're taking with Soleil, and it's just the day-to-day with our trainers and doctors and how she feels.
We've got Rob Mosley, assistant coach, on the show here, and Joni Taylor. This was the first multi-day road trip with the practice guys traveling. Got them out of the pool long enough to do some good.
Yeah, it was good, and we have some really good practice players too. They really challenge our girls. They're supportive. They even stay and rebound, and they were grabbing bags off the bus. So it was different, but it was really good. I think it helped us too.
Did you guys watch them during that Southern Miss game?
Yes, they got to sit courtside. They were having a time.
Rowdy.
They were.
They were big time. They were having a good time.
Until I was worried they were going to get a tick. Oh. I was a little worried. They were a little over-enthused.
Rob, did you get a chance to do anything fun while you were there?
Those games, she said, I had North Carolina and Ball State. So literally I had both scouts. And when you have a short turnaround, you try to make the information concise, and then you realize you don't have the practice time. So you try to make sure that it's very thorough and somewhat simple. So simplify as much as you possibly can. So we went to dinner the first night. Yeah. So we went to Nobu. We had a great dinner. I'm not a gambler, so I didn't gamble.
Despite having to cross through there 3 to 4 or 5 times a day.
A day.
How about that walk?
It's a walk. You get some steps in.
Oh yeah, you definitely did. But no, we had some meals and saw some friends. I have some friends who coach for the other teams, so got a chance to talk with them a very little. But it's a work trip. Honestly, it's a work trip when we go. It's a great opportunity for the players, but coaches, we're working.
Have either of you been in a colder gym
oh my God.
than Atlantis? It was like, you could store bodies in there.
The only gym that I can say, as 2 gyms that come to mind, Nike Nationals, when Nike Nationals used to be in Augusta.
Yeah.
It was freezing. Like, people had blankets. And then when I was at Louisiana Tech as an assistant, when we played at San Jose State, we played the floor underneath it was ice hockey.
Sure, yeah.
And so that would be the only other time that it's been that cold. But it was freezing.
And Disney.
Oh, Disney, yes, Orlando.
New York House, Ice House, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, it is freezing. Yeah.
And you knew you were in trouble when you rounded the corner from one wing of the hotel into this, and it's like, it would drop like 20 degrees.
It was very cold.
Yeah, you literally forgot that you were in the Bahamas. It was freezing.
I mean, I looked at the itineraries, like coaches sent out what they were wearing. I was like, these people are wearing long sleeves. What in the world? I mean, I know it's a night game, but okay. I mean, and I happened to just have a little jacket in my bag. I wore that thing all day, every day. That was the coldest place. That was great. All right. Well, congratulations on getting out there with the win, and let's stay at home for a while.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be great to be home. Hopefully string together some wins and go into SEC on the right foot.
Yeah, excellent. All right, Rob, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, it's Rob Mosley. We're live from Rudy's Barbecue. It's the Aggie Basketball Hour with Joni Taylor from Learfield. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance wants to give you a VIP Aggie basketball fan experience this year. Go to 12thman.com/maroon contest and register. One winner and a guest will receive game tickets, a Joni Taylor autographed basketball, and will be recognized on the video board during the game. Register today at 12thman.com/maroon contest. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is a proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. We are back on the Aggie Basketball Hour with Joni Taylor. We are here at Rudy's Barbecue in College Station until 7 o'clock. Texas A&M will be hosting Syracuse this Wednesday night, 6:15 p.m., part of the SEC-ACC Challenge at Reed Arena. And Sunday, the Aggies host number 13 Kansas State, 3 o'clock, Reed Arena. Hope to see you out there for all of those games. Joni, you mentioned that you guys practiced on Thanksgiving, but you also took an opportunity to give back.
We did. We did community service. This is our first year here. We were at home for Thanksgiving, and so this was our second year partnering with Thanksgiving Gives in the Brazos Valley. We went to Dunkin' Dining Center that morning, and I think between campus dining and Epicures, they feed over 2,000 people in the Bryan College Station area. And so in 2022, we were part of the cars, and so the food was prepared, brought out to our cars, and we had addresses, and we split the team up into groups. And so we drove around town and College Station and Bryan and knocked on doors and delivered food. Wow. And then this year we were actually a part of the assembly line. And so, of course, I turned that into a competition. And so once I realized, we were, making food and bagging it, it was just like these are rows of tables. They were rows of tables, and they got passed down to you. And once it was passed to us, we were responsible for the dessert, the cranberry sauce, the napkins, and putting it in a bag and tying it up and sending it to the car. And so I looked up, and AC was next to me, and she was like, "How did I end up next to you?" I said, "I don't know, but let's go. We got to win." And our table was the first table to finish all the food, and they shut ours down because we got done. So.
Oh, about that. Hey, what's wrong with that? Adeline wanted the crowd to be able to ask some questions, so she took some cards around. So we'll get to a few now, then we'll take a break and get to a few more. But we'll go with Adeline first, and she distributed them. She would like to know, have you seen the Wicked movie?
I have not. JC and Drew have seen it, though. They have Wicked outfits. Do you have a Wicked sweatsuit? Well, come on. We got to get that taken care of, Sammy, now don't we? They went, what is today? Today is Monday. So on Friday, they went to see Wicked on Friday, I believe. And they wore their warm-ups. They have Wicked warm-ups. It was a great movie. It's 3 hours, apparently. Woo. I think Daddy took 2 naps while he was there. But I have not seen it, but they did do that on Friday, yes.
All right. Well, we're going to get to some more questions. We're going to take a break, and we'll get to some more questions here. When you need a new roof or just have a pesky leak, you want to call on the winning team at Schulte Roofing, home of the bulletproof roof guarantee. Get the best. Visit SchulteRoofing.com. We're live from Rudy's Barbecue. It's the Aggie Basketball Hour with Joni Taylor from Learfield.